Love I would define as a purity of heart, and when two hearts are attracted organically, so there's no rhyme or reason. There doesn't have to be any sort of excess. It's just natural as a wave coming in and out, or the moon or the sun setting or rising. There's no right or wrong way or beginning or end. It just is.
I believe that love is kind of experiencing freedom through the connection with somebody else and putting your ear to somebody else's consciousness.
Love is almost undefinable.
Love is a spiritual thing.
For me, love is something unreachable.
I feel like I would define love as kind of like an unexplained need for something or someone over an extended period of time. Like that, no matter where you are, what point in your life and you're at, that is the person or the thing that you need that will sustain you or bring you comfort or joy.
It's universal to me. It's godly. It's something that you can't see. You know what I'm trying to say? You only can feel.
Love, I think, in my experience, is the greatest thing you could ever have. It's so rare. It's so pure. It is the purest essence of life.
I don't believe in falling in love. I believe in standing in love.
Okay. And how would you define lust?
Just right off the bat, whoever you want to hook up with. Someone you find physically attractive or from the surface attractive. Maybe it's the air about them or the way they talk.
The animation of the body, and through a connection with somebody else's beingness and somebody else's body.
Well, I think lust would be more involving sex, and love is more like feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the difference between an emotional connection and a physical connection.
Yeah.
Got it.
Love is more of a poetic, long-term thing, but lust can be that way too. It's just a matter of what you are looking for and invested in, really. So they're kind of like two sides of a yin-yang or a coin or something like that. Lust is like a fire energy, quick and intense and raw human passion. Love can be lustful too. There can be lustful love. There can be loving lust.
I think lust is much more ephemeral, and love it's like a plant. You water it, and it grows.
Have you ever been in love?
Yes.
Can you describe to us what that felt like, or when you first realized that you were?
It felt like a hack, like for freedom. Like it was like, oh, this is freedom. It's not like this idea that we're like free only when we're alone. We're actually most free when we connect very deeply and we're seen very deeply by somebody else. And what it felt like for me is just this like wakefulness and expansiveness and heart-centeredness, like courage.
Yeah, I've definitely been in love. I'm in love.
It was beautiful. Something like you just like, I don't know, you just like automatically connect. And then like you just know, like from the moment that you see them.
I'm always in love.
Are you currently in love?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I have a beautiful lady in London named Zoe. Hi.
Hi, Zoe.
You just know when you love someone, you're able to be vulnerable in front of them. You want to show them what's inside of you.
Give us an idea of what it was like to be in love and what it was like to be in lust, and maybe how you responded to both.
I think, both can make you crazy, I think.
Do you think that lust is harmful or detrimental anyway?
Lust is totally fine. I'm all encouraging of that, as long as it's on the road or the path to love. That can be the start of it.
Well, I think lust is evolution. It's how we're here. It's one thing that is important to keeping our people going.
Right.
So I actually don't think it's a negative thing. Not objectively. I think it's essential, and I think when you can mix the two together, I think that's when you get the best thing.
Right.
Sometimes just being in lust, teaches you probably what just lust is, and teaches you what you're attracted to and what you like and what you don't like, and it often teaches you how to communicate, and I think ultimately it teaches you more about yourself, and I think and it can be really fun, and I think like being able to take that self-knowledge into whatever next relationship you're in, be it a love, be it just a platonic friendship, I think knowing more about yourself is always a good thing.
I don't think it's harmful, but I feel like people nowadays, it's so hard to be self-aware with social media and everything. Just our culture makes it hard for us to be self-aware and know exactly what we want. So when we want love, we actually confuse thinking it's lust that we want, but actually we're looking for love. And I think that's detrimental.
And part of the research that we did regarding love and lust, we came across a study that was on people who were experiencing lust, and what they found was that when they scanned their brains, it was pretty much the same sort of activity when compared to people who were doing cocaine. Does that surprise you in any way?
No.
It
That
doesn't
doesn't
surprise
surprise
you
me at all.
Okay.
For some people, it's like an addiction.
Not at all. I think addiction is pretty synonymous. I think it's similar chemicals in our brain that's released.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, because it's the same sort of like excitement, you know what I mean? It's the same sort of rush that, you know, a party drug can evoke.
So chemically, they're practically neck and neck. Like the drug and the lust are like, well, look at that stat right there.
Are you seeing a lot more of people thinking that they're in love, but they're really in lust because of physical attraction?
Lust. There's like, love is like swimming. You got a needle in a haystack, you're gonna find real love. You get what I'm saying?
I say it all the time.
Right.
I say it's extremely rare.
It's rare.
And yet you hear it all the time.
Because
I love him. I love her.
Absolutely.
I'm so in love. One guy actually said that he thinks that lust is fantasy and that love is reality. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I think that oftentimes you see in these relationships that people will attach themselves to the fantasy of what the relationship could be rather than what the reality of the relationship is. Right? That's what's keeping you there. It's the fantasy. Why do you think that when adults know what lust is, he's even been guilty of this, they stay in these relationships? What keeps you in these relationships when you know it's not love?
I think it's a fear thing. Fear of starting something new. Because sometimes a person think I can do better.
All the time.
I can't. The letting go thing, because I might find something, and it's not better, or I don't want someone else to have this person.
I think it depends. I think it is really comfortable to be in lust for a really long time and to like have that kind of, I think lust can also feel like unrequited love, and I think sometimes it feels safer or more comfortable or more familiar to stay in the fantasy of lust, and I think it can be really confusing, and I think sometimes we'll throw around the word like I'm in love with this person when like you know the difference. If you've actually been in love, like you do know the difference between what you feel for maybe this person you're obsessing about in the moment versus the big loves of your life, and you do know that they're different, I think, eventually, but I think it can be really confusing.
Right. Definitely. Do you think that you're able to differentiate between both? When you're experiencing these relationships, are you like, okay, let me just step back for a second here. Is this love or is this lust?
I think it's really hard sometimes, and I think like when you're in lust, you can almost talk yourself into being in love. And then again, you have to do kind of what you were just saying, is like you really have to step back and be like, is this person really fulfilling all of my needs? Is this person like, you know, going above and beyond my expectations, or do I just want this in the moment?
Right. I say this all the time. I was a really big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. One time he was in a car, all these fans saw him, and they walked up to him and they were like, why should we do it? Why should we start? Why should we like start our own businesses, whatever? And Gary looks, he goes, say it in 3 words. And Gary looks at him and he goes, we're gonna die.
It's inevitable.
Like, we're gonna die. And yet you have people in these relationships that don't bring them value, don't bring them joy, don't bring them happiness. They're fully aware as adults that this is not love, but they stay. Is it just fear of letting go? Is there something else going on within that person that keeps them?
It's a lot to do with insecurities.
One woman actually stated that the difference between lust and love is that lust will die and love will grow.
Yes, yeah.
What do you think about that statement?
I agree with that. I think the the D word is a little intense, but I think both will grow. I think love will grow and flourish like a flower or a tree. Lust can also grow.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean.
But it grows into love rather than dies. Or it doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
I think that's honestly, I think you must have both.
Lust is powerless, love is powerful.
I think lust is pretty powerful. Like, I think lust can make you make a lot of decisions and like change the way you're living your life, and like, you know, you think about the ways you go out of your way to see something, to see someone when you're in lust, or the way you dress differently when you're in lust, or change the places you're going, what you're doing because of that. I think lust can be just as driving of a force as love. But again, I think it is, so I don't think it's powerless, I just don't think it has the same sustained power as love.
Lust is objectifying other people. Do you disagree? You do.
I disagree with that. I mean, that sounds like some kind of puritanical BS, honestly. So, no, none of this is objectively bad. It's part of who we are as human beings. There's nothing about us that's bad.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I love it.
For those of you just tuning in, I would say go for love, you know. But if you're 18 and up, like, let the lust take you there.
I think self-awareness is key. Figuring yourself out and giving yourself enough time to be introspective and think about what you really want. Journaling, knowing yourself.
Be honest with yourself about what you want and what you're willing to sacrifice and tolerate. And sometimes someone can seem like a really great idea, but if you really walk yourself through the steps of what being with that person would be like, I think a lot of times you'll find that it, in the long run, wouldn't actually be what you want it to be.
Just be you. Stay open. Stay accepting. But be honest and be authentic and find someone who can be in that authenticity with you.
To be 100% confident with themselves.
Whatever you put out there, you might say, you know what, you might not even say it. You might just think it. I want this. I want to be here. And for you to get here, you have to take these steps in life, right? And everyone that you meet, it's going to add something to every step you're going to take to get there, right. Even if you may not see it, because that's what I call opportunities. Opportunity don't come disguised as opportunity or dressed as opportunity. It comes disguised as that step in the mud you might have to take. You know what I mean? And a person might be, I don't want to get my shoes dirty, right. But that's the opportunity, but they don't see it that way.
Love and lust are a good thing. It's just a matter of whether it's positive or negative. So love should be at the forefront of your mind and heart, and within a relationship, or whether it's casual or you're married. But lust is okay as long as it's in a nourishing and healing and positive way. It can be playful, as long as the whole relationship or attraction or connection is not only based on that, and there is a foundation of love. Then that's the rest is okay. You can explore in that realm, and the rest is history.